Complaining. Why do we always complain? Why, for a lot of us, that's the first thing that we do when a situation arises is we begin to complain. Maybe not externally or out loud, but we will complain inside the brain. So why do we complain? Why is this energy where it almost mentally exhausts us to the point to where we feel like when we complain, we're making progress, we're grasping, we're taking control of the situation. We have a defense that's put together that allows us to be able to make sense of this perceived problem that we have. So let's dissect this a little bit. A perceived problem. Why is your brain saying that it's a problem? What is it? You're like, well, Jason, this is, this, I can't believe this actually happened. This person said this about me, or, I found out that my loved one was, not being honest with me, or whatever it may be. That's a perceived problem. It's so funny how these problems in the moment seem like they're overwhelming, but when you talk to somebody a year, 2, 3 years later, they're always feeling like it's a blessing in disguise. They're always saying, I'm so glad this happened because it revealed this, this, and this, and I was able to pivot off of that and learn from it, and then I was able to go in this direction. So it the perceived problem kind of catapulted me and made me make a decision to go in this one direction. And so I'm appreciative of what has happened. And I think it's so important, guys, for you to understand this, because you don't have to take a year, 2, 3 years to become self-aware of this. You can do this in the moment. You got to say, okay, I'm perceiving this as a problem. Why? That's the first thing. I'm getting emotions about this, this, and this. Why? Those are the questions that need to be answered. And then from there, you can take those responses. Let's take, you found out that a loved one is talking bad about you to someone that you love. So let's say it's an aunt and she's talking bad about you to a cousin. Well, that's a perceived problem. You shared something with your aunt. She wasn't supposed to share it with anyone else, but she shared it with a cousin, and now it's embarrassing to you. Because you know that it's going out throughout the family. So that's a perceived problem. So how do you handle this? Well, the first emotion you have is embarrassment, right? Because the secret that you told is out, and you don't want to look bad in front of those that you love. So if you can understand that, so okay, this is about me being narcissistic. We're going to make this leap, guys. This is about me being narcissistic, and this is about me wanting to look good in front of others, not be honest and transparent about the mistakes that I make, and not have any type of ego attached to it. And so because I want to look perfect, this could be with the spouse, whatever it may be, because I want to look perfect and I can't, and a truth was revealed that embarrasses me, now I've got to go in defense, egoic, freak out mode. So see how we just deciphered all that we become self-aware? So it's like, oh, okay, well, this isn't really about my aunt because I've known she's done this before. I shouldn't have said anything, but I got caught up in the moment like everyone does with her, talking on the phone for 45 minutes. And then next thing you know, I hear it from a cousin that she told somebody else or told her. But didn't you know that was going to probably happen anyways? The percentage, if you really think about it, what would be the percentage that you would bet your life on that she was going to share that with someone else? You'd probably say 80%. 80% that she was going to. So you knew this was going to happen, but you did it anyways. See how we began to become self-aware? And so this complaining, because that's what we're talking about, this complaining that we get, whether it's to ourselves, whether it's towards someone else, whether it's about a situation, we begin to take this negative energy, this low vibrational energy, and allow it to consume us. Now, when you are in this mindset, no abundance can come to you, no amount of blessings, whatever you want to use the word for that, positive attitude, whatever word you want to use for that, that's not going to happen when you're in this negative vibration, this low tonal vibration. So how do you pull yourself out? You have to say, hey, I shouldn't have. I need to take 100% responsibility. I knew she was probably going to say something, really 80% of the chance she was. So it's my fault for getting caught up in the moment and getting all emotional and sharing some with her anyways. It's not her fault. She's just unconscious. It's what she does. She runs around and gossips all the time. So one, I'm going to take responsibility. That's going to already, when you begin to take responsibility of something instead of complaining about it, that already is going to allow you to take control. To not be reactive, but be proactive. Okay, so I've got that down. Number two, I'm not going to talk bad about my aunt because she's just being unconscious and that's who she is. And I need to accept her. That's unconditional love. I need to accept this person as they are. I need to love them as they are. Now, if I need to have a conversation with her, I think that may be a waste of time because she does this all the time. And she would just, gossip about the conversation I had with her. So best thing for me to do is just own it. Tell people, laugh about it, not get upset about it, and tell people, yeah, I got caught up in the moment. I know Aunt gossips a lot, and I shared something kind of personal with her, but, that thing that happened, it was just a learning lesson. That's all it was. You need to stop making things such a big deal. They're a 10 to you because you're being narcissistic about it. People will move on to the next thing. They're going to the McDonald's drive-thru or are binging on Netflix or going to the casino or watching porn or smoking a cigarette. They have so many unconscious activities that most people are doing by being reactive. Your little situation that happened may be a little blip on their radar and give them a little bit of excitement, may be able to give them a little insight to your enemies or whoever it may be. But at the end of the day, it's not a big deal. It's a 2 or 3 to them. And it's a 10 to you because you're feeling like it's personal, but it's not. You shared a learning lesson with someone and you happen to share it with somebody you knew that would not keep it to themselves. So there's no use complaining. And that's just one situation. We could run scenarios all the time, but this energy, you've got to watch your energy because abundance, having a positive attitude. If you have a positive attitude, I always tell people this. If you have a positive attitude, when you walk into work, things begin to happen in a good way. Now, you may walk in with a positive attitude and then you're going to be reactive because you got a bad email or you're anticipating something that's going to be bad that's not even real. I had that yesterday. I had an email that I thought was going to be bad this morning and it wasn't. It was actually good. But I thought the person was going to throw me under the bus and they didn't. And I worried about it, fell asleep to thinking about it. And then this morning I got up early checking my phone with my heartbeat going bump, 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 bump. Because I was so worried about it. And none of it happened. All that emotion, all that negative energy that I had was for no reason. I was just exhausting my mental capacity, exhausting, and I believe my high vibration, getting out of that. There's always an excuse to go low vibration. There's always an excuse to go unconscious. And all it's going to do is exhaust you. Anything that you do unconsciously is going to exhaust you. So I'm telling you guys, if you can do these little tricks, these little self-aware tricks, these little hacks, and do them in your head, these perceived problems that you're complaining about all the time to yourself inside your head or to others, they go away. They lose their power. And when you begin to operate in a high vibration, you don't take things personal. Because the ego is not allowed. It wants to come in and take every single thing that's done supposedly against you. Jesus did the greatest quote, I think. It's so awesome. They crucified him. He's on the cross experiencing the worst type of death that anyone can experience. The Romans invented crucifixion, which they say is absolutely horrific. It takes days for someone to die. You suffocate. You're in tremendous amounts of pain. Read about how horrible crucifixion is. Jesus is on the cross as a high vibrational being, and he says this, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. When you feel so-called wrong, because you can't be wrong unless you think you're wronged, that's a whole nother, you'd have to listen to my spiritual podcast, Higher Density Living. That's a shameless plug right there. And we talk about this all the time. Alexander and I do. We go into these scenarios from a spiritual perspective. So if that's something that you're interested in, we're on Spotify, Apple, all of them, Higher Density Living Podcast. Okay, enough of that. But complaining, guys, you have to take the approach you says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They're just acting unconsciously. They're just being reactive. I'm not going to fall into the same trap they are. I'm going to stay conscious, and I'm going to stay proactive, and I'm going to figure this out, and then nothing is that big of a deal. I'm taking it personal, but I'm really not. My higher self isn't taking it personal. My ego's taking it personal. That monkey mind, the reptilian brain, that's the one that's defensive all the time, not the real me. The real me moves on. It's not a problem. It's a learning lesson, moving on. So I encourage you guys, don't spend the energy complaining, because at the end of the day, when you complain, it's low vibration. When it's low vibration, you cannot be in a positive attitude. You will not have abundance, and you will not be able to love, to lead, and to care for those that are around you.
Thank you for joining us on the Albuquerque Business Podcast. And thanks to our sponsor, RigbyDigital.com. Make sure to subscribe and share. And go to abqpodcast.com. Get show notes, resources, and links to everything we talked about today to help you navigate your journey as an entrepreneur and business owner.